Hello good people, I hope you are doing well. Today we will open our first script and see what is inside. So let's do that. We've got our script in here, so let's double click on that one and it should be open in our default editor, which is Visual Studio in our case. Your code might look different than mine because I've got a special theme installed. I will show you how to do that later on, not in this movie, but I will show you that. But today I want to get through the script and tell you what is it all about. So at the very top we've got some namespaces. We can call them libraries as well. So they are here for extra functionality because normally script is very small. Like we don't want to attach many different files, many different libraries because we want to keep it small and fast. So whenever our script expands and it needs more functionality, we'll add some extra namespaces and libraries. For sure, most of the scripts will have this using Unity Engine because Unity Engine is a special namespace that we use in Unity in order to use all of this extra stuff that Unity team prepared for us. So that's why 99% of the scripts we are going to make will have this line of code. As you can see, the two on the top, they are a little bit grayed out in compared to this one. It is because they add this by default, but we actually don't use it. Unity and Visual Studio will tell you that when you create something or type something in and you don't use it, when you add something unnecessary, it will be indicated. And in this case, we can see that this two line of codes, we don't really need it. So we can just delete it like that. And you will see that later on when we will have to add some extra functionality, we'll just go there and type using maybe Unity Engine again and then just put a dot because dot will help us to get inside of something. Dot is like hierarchy operator. So if we have some namespaces, then classes, then some methods and so on. So through the dot we will get deeper and deeper. Okay, we'll find out that at some point. But anyway, if we would like to use, for example, scene management, we can just type scene management and from now on we can switch scenes. Okay, but we don't really need that. I just wanted to show you how it works. Next, we've got public class. 99% of the time, not all the time, but for now, let's stick to that one. We will type our code inside of the class. The class is a main container for our code. Usually classes will be public, so that's why we've got this keyword here, public, then class, and here is the name of our class, where it comes from. I told you before that the script and the class is the same thing, so we called our script player movement. That's why our class is called player movement as well. And it is a must that the class name, which is player movement, have to be the same as this script name. If you now decide to change the name of this class and add some characters at the end, it's not going to work because this name is not the same as the script name. Okay, so keep that in mind and don't touch it. Next, we've got a colon. And it means inheritance. It means that our script player movement inherits from mono behavior. This is a special, let's say, base class built for us so we can have all the nice stuff which are needed in Unity. It's not 100% true that I'm telling you now, but it's enough for now. I don't want to give you too much information at the beginning if you don't really need it, because it might be boring. Let's just remember that most of the scripts that we are going to create in this first few weeks of studying will be created this way. And that's it for now. Okay, so our class is a block of code, and we can say that because it starts and ends with the curly braces. Every block of code will start and ends with curly braces, like we can see the method in here. We don't really need it for now, but it will be helpful later on. Now we've got a comment which says that start is called before the update. So this, let's say, method will be called first, and then update will be called. How it works? The start method will be called at the beginning and it will be called only once. So whenever we've got some object on the scene, whenever we press the start button or it gets spawned into the scene, this start method will be executed only once. And then once it's executed, it will go to the update method. And as you can see, the command update is called once per frame. So it means that the update method will be called all over again in the loop. It will be called all the time, many times a second. Like if you play games, you've got some FPS, so frames per second. So this is how the update method will be called. It will be called like 100, 200, 500 times per second, and it depends on your computer and on the program, on the game. Sometimes where our scene will be not complex, it will be easy, there will be not many calculations, then it might run like 500 times per second. But when the scene will get more complex, then it might drop to like 100 or 30 frames per second. So it depends, like in normal game. So that's why we can't predict how many times per second the update method will be called. But we know it will be called many times and it will be called once per frame. What I want you to remember is that we have namespaces on the top. We'll add some more if we need more functionality. Then we have the main container for our code, which is class. Then inside the class, we will type our code. And by default, we've got two methods, start, which will execute only once at the beginning. And then we've got update, which will be called all the time in the loop. And it will start executing straight after the start method finishes.